In the heart of Scotland lies a long and winding valley. This lesser visited place is rich in history and legend, natural beauty and ancient forests. Join me as I explore Scotland's longest, loneliest and loveliest glen. Good morning from a town called Aberfeldy in Perthshire. I have just walked past a whisky distillery called Dewar's Whisky Distillery. It's a bit early, I'm not going to be heading in there. Dewar's is renowned for its blended whiskies. It ranks among the top-selling Scotch whisky brands worldwide, with particular popularity in the USA. The brand is also credited with pioneering the double aging process, where the whisky undergoes a second maturation to achieve a smoother flavour. I'm going to go into the town of Aberfeldy. This is an area of Scotland I've never been to before. I've heard it's a really lovely town and there's a few things to see here, and then I'm going to go down the longest glen in Scotland. Let's go! Behind me here is the River Tay, and this is the longest river in Scotland, and it's very famous for salmon fishing. Lots of people come here to do salmon fishing every year. Aberfeldy is a lovely town surrounded by scenic hills and forests. Sometimes called the Gateway to the Highlands, it's a hub for outdoor activities and has a rich history, including the historic Wades Bridge, which is my first stop. This is one of the things I wanted to see here in Aberfeldy. It was built in 1733 and it is still standing to this day. It's such a beautiful bridge. When the bridge was built, it was never intended to carry such heavy traffic, and in modern times, trucks and cars go across this bridge, and it's incredible that it's still standing. Wades Bridge was built by General George Wade as part of his efforts to improve military roads in the Highlands. The bridge is an iconic landmark and an example of 18th century engineering. Just beside the bridge is this here, which I also wanted to see, and this is the Black Watch Memorial. So for those of you who don't know what the Black Watch is, it was a military regiment, it possibly still is, and one of my relatives was in the Black Watch during the First World War and he sadly passed away. His name was George, and I went to visit his grave when I went to the Western Front back in January this year. And this memorial is for the Black Watch, but it was erected quite a bit of time before the First World War. I was researching online and I see there is a Black Watch museum in Perth, and I'd really like to visit there sometime. To be honest, before I went to France and Belgium, I probably wouldn't have come and seen this. Even though I had a family member that was part of the Black Watch, I just wasn't very aware of that history, and I'm really glad that I went to France and Belgium, and I really appreciate the significance of these memorials and war memorials now as I travel in Scotland. I'd heard of a great coffee roastery in Aberfeldy called Glen Lyon, so I had to pay it a visit. I ordered an oat flat white, which is my favourite coffee order at the moment, and I enjoyed it in their outdoor seating area. That coffee was so good. 10 out of 10, I think. Possibly the best coffee I have ever had in Scotland. If you come to Aberfeldy, you must visit the Glen Lyon coffee roastery. Wow. After my coffee, I went to the River Tay Way Hub, a new service area which is great if you're travelling in a van. In this building over here, there's toilets which are open 24/7, and then there's showers which are open between 9 to 5. There's also a place to throw rubbish over there as well. Oh wow, inside one of the doors here they have a campervan waste disposal area for £6. So you can scan the QR code and then empty your waste. That's fantastic. And then here there are some toilets. And then round the other side, there's these showers. This is brilliant. Wow, what a fantastic facility. So it's recommended to donate £3 if you use the showers. This is a really great facility, especially if you're in this area. Thank you so much to whoever has set this up. It's Really fantastic. After drinking that coffee, I am so full of energy, and I've come now to the Aberfeldy Park. And before I head down Scotland's longest and loneliest glen, I'm going to head into the park and do a quick workout. I've always enjoyed exercise, but over the last few years I've been travelling around in my van a lot, and to be honest, I found it quite difficult to maintain consistency with doing workouts and reaching my personal fitness goals. However, a few months ago, Trainwell got in touch with me about collaborating on a video, and it's honestly been such a game changer for me. I finally found something which has helped me stay consistent. If you haven't heard of Trainwell before, it's a platform that makes strength training accessible for everyone at every fitness level. Strength training has always been my favourite type of workout. Every time I do a strength workout, I feel absolutely incredible afterwards. I also feel that it really helps my overall physical capabilities. Things like carrying my heavy camera backpack or even my supermarket groceries feels much easier. How it works is that you get matched with a real personal trainer. My personal trainer is called Kaylin, and she's so nice and so encouraging. She sets me workouts on the Trainwell app, and these are completely customized to my fitness ability, my goals, and also what equipment I have available. I'm traveling in the van at the moment, and I only bring with me this exercise mat. So most of the workouts for when I'm traveling are body weight workouts. However, when I'm at home, she incorporates a dumbbell and kettlebell into the workouts for me. What I love most about Trainwell is that it's made everything so simple for me. I don't need to think about what workout or exercise I'm going to be doing. All I need to do is open the app and follow what has been programmed for me. Because Kaylin is following up with me and holding me accountable, it's really hard to skip a workout. When I used to do workouts on my own before, I'd often just not do it because I couldn't be bothered, and there was nobody there to answer to, so it was really easy just not to do it. I'm really enjoying using Trainwell, and if you'd like to give it a go too, you can check out my unique link in the video description below. The first 100 people to sign up will get 14 days for free, plus $25 off on your first month. Now the workout is complete, it is time to head down the glen. I'm so excited to see it, especially with this amazing weather today. Let's go. Okay, we're about to actually go over the bridge. This is interesting. In Scotland, the word glen is used to describe a valley, and there are over 40 glens in Scotland. You've probably heard of some of the famous glens like Glen Coe, Glen Etive or Glen Shee. The glen I'll be heading down today is called Glen Lyon. This is Scotland's longest glen, stretching 34 miles from Loch Lyon to the village of Fortingall, which will be my first stop. I pulled up at my first stop here. I actually was driving for around 30 minutes because I took a wrong turn and went off in the complete wrong direction, and there was nowhere to turn the van and come back. So anyway, I managed to turn and have made it to my first stop, which is a very old tree. This tree is said to be over 3,000 years old and is one of the longest living things in Europe. I came across some information online that in 1769, the circumference of the Fortingall yew tree's multiple trunks was measured at 52 feet. However, over time, the tree has significantly diminished, and what remains today are the relics and offshoots of the original. This little village is called Fortingall, and it's really cute. And in the village, there are some houses which have thatched roofs, which is quite unusual to see. They're so nice. The houses here are really cute. I think these houses have replaced the roofs with regular tiled roofs rather than the thatch. So it seems that there's only 2 or 3 houses that have the thatch. I can imagine it's probably a lot of maintenance to take care of, and you probably have to replace it every so often. I'm not sure how often, but I can understand why people probably wanted to change to the tiled roofs. So it's quite funny because I think this is maybe only the 3rd or 4th day this entire summer in Scotland that I've felt heat. It's been an absolutely awful summer. One of my friends said to me that it's been the wettest summer on record, and I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it's so nice to have a day like this. It just brings me so much happiness. I'm checking the map now, and a little bit further on we're going to be taking a turn down Glen Lyon. And when I first saw the spelling, I thought it was maybe Glen Lyon, but I asked in the coffee shop this morning and she said it's pronounced as Glen Lyon, because when I see that spelling Lyon, it reminds me of the French town or city called Lyon, but it's called Glen Lyon. Let's go. I've actually seen quite a few people cycling down this road, and it would be a really nice road to cycle. Entered onto the single track road now. We are heading down the longest and loneliest glen in Scotland. I've seen quite a few cars in the area, so it doesn't seem that lonely, but as we drive further, it might start to feel lonelier and lonelier. And probably when it was described as being lonely, it was probably hundreds of years ago, before cars and before people were travelling around for fun.
Glen Lyon is said to be one of Scotland's most beautiful and remote glens, rich in history and legend. The renowned Scottish novelist Walter Scott famously described Glen Lyon as the longest, loneliest and loveliest glen in Scotland. The history of the glen spans thousands of years and was historically part of the land controlled by the Clan Campbell, who were a powerful force in the area. Glen Lyon was the home of Captain Robert Campbell, who is best remembered for commanding the Scottish government forces that carried out the massacre of Glen Coe, an event that contributed to long-standing feuds between Highland clans. Around 2,000 people once lived here, but like many parts of the Highlands, Glen Lyon was affected by the Highland clearances, where tenants were forcibly evicted to make way for sheep farming, leading to depopulation and significant changes in the landscape and way of life.
So I managed to pull in here at the church in a place called Inverwick. I've been driving for around an hour and there's actually been quite a bit of traffic on the road today. It's a single track road, so I'm constantly having to pull into the passing places, reverse back and then let cars go past. I think because the weather is really nice today, people have come down here for the day, and I've also seen quite a few people fishing on the River Lyon. This area is quite a popular place for fishing, I think. Because there's been so much traffic, I was just thinking that this place is described as being a lonely glen. It definitely doesn't feel lonely. I think I've been down other glens in Scotland. I've been down Glen Etive. That also didn't feel very lonely, but there are definitely other roads in Scotland which are quieter and have a more lonely feeling to them. So here is the church with the bell. So if you can see the bell there, I think that's it there on the top of the church, and this bell was found nearby and it dates back to the year 700. Wow, so 1,300-year-old bell. I hope that is the correct bell. I might be showing you a really modern bell that was made quite recently, but it does look quite old, so could be the old bell. So this is Bridge of Balgie, and I just saw a sign saying there's a primary school here, so I wonder where the famous tea room is.
I visited on a Wednesday, and the famous tea room here is closed on a Wednesday, so unfortunately I couldn't visit. Nearby are some Munros, which are hills over 3,000 feet. There are 282 Munros in Scotland, and Munro bagging is a popular activity. There's a walk called the Glen Lyon Horseshoe, which summits 4 Munros on the one walk.
Been driving along a little bit more and I've now come to a parking spot with some incredible views. As I was driving here, I noticed that there's less and less passing places. I actually met a vehicle and both of us were very far away from a passing place, and the guy decided to reverse back and he must have been reversing for about 5 minutes. I felt so bad. I'm quite good at reversing, so it would have been okay, but yeah, very nice of him to reverse all the way back to let me pass. Let me show you this incredible view. Look at that! I actually have been doing a little bit of DIY on my van recently, and I found these little pockets here on Amazon and decided to install one here, and I think it's really, really useful. So I put the
pocket here and I can store the bin bags and also my books in there too. I put another one in here beside the battery for my cables because I had so many cables and they were all lying around and getting in the way and getting tangled. And then I put another one down there for charging. That's the drone batteries, and then also the batteries for the lights inside the van. Since I did my original van tour, I've actually slowly added quite a few more things into my camper van. So if anyone would like another van tour, please let me know, because there are a few things that I've changed. Actually, quite maybe like 10 or 15 things that I've changed since I bought the van to improve it and make it more comfortable for living in. Someone recently asked me if I'm planning to buy a new van or if I want to upgrade my van, but the answer is no. Even though this van is from 2001, so 23 years old now, there is nothing I would change about this van. I think this is the perfect van. So after living in vans before buying this one, I knew exactly what I wanted, and being able to stand up inside the van is such a necessity for me because I got a really sore back when I lived for a year and a half full time in a smaller van. I don't live in this van full time. I usually just go for extended trips. Usually the maximum is around 3 or 4 weeks that I go away in the van for, and I really enjoy it for that length of time. I think if I did live in it full time, I would maybe get tired of it and I would want to have a shower or perhaps a bigger living space. Such a lovely road to cycle. These were the views I imagined seeing when I heard the word Glen. We're getting towards the home straight here, the end of the Glen, and it is looking very spectacular. Lots of sheepy boys running around. Almost feels like the type of day to go in swimming in the river, but I don't really want to go in because I'm on my own and I might get swept away in the rapids. I wasn't loving this road, to be honest. Didn't feel like it was anything special until I got past the tea room and things started to change. This is amazing. I wonder if that one up there is a Munro. Not sure. Maybe not. Time to get out and look at these views. Wow. I actually didn't have much of an idea of what was down here because there's not much about this glen online. I've read about it, but there's not really any pictures or videos, just written content. And wow, really glad I came here now. In the heart of Glen Lyon, it's said that an ancient and mysterious figure called the Cailleach Vir dwells. Often depicted as an old woman or hag, she wields the power to control the weather and seasons. Her magic shapes the landscape of the glen where she is believed to reside. Associated with winter, the Cailleach is said to bring the biting cold, fierce storms, and heavy snow, holding the land in her icy grip. Yet as spring approaches, she gradually releases her hold, allowing the warmth to return and life to awaken. In some tales, the Cailleach is also a guardian of animals and the land, embodying the harsh but vital forces of nature. So, a little bit further on, I've come across a power station here. So there's a dam and a power station. Wow, really quite empty up here now. It was really warm earlier, but suddenly got really cold. Whew. As I was driving along, I came across a car which had broken down. I stopped to see what was going on and if I could help them, and they needed to call the breakdown recovery, but they didn't have any phone signal. There's no phone signal in this area. So I set up the Starlink and it was possible to contact the breakdown recovery, and they're going to be 4 hours to pick them up. So there's 3 of them in the car. They're trying to go back to Edinburgh tonight. The estimated time to come here is between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. So it's around 6 o'clock at the moment. They've got a tracker, and I've left them with the Starlink internet and also the small Blue Yeti battery. I've left it set up for them so that they can track where their driver is, or they can receive a phone call if the driver from the breakdown recovery calls them. So I'm going to head up to the end of the Glen. There's nothing else I can do. I've already sat with them for about an hour, and I've helped them as much as I can. So I'm going to head on down the Glen, see the end of it, and then I'll go back and make sure they're okay and stay with them until someone comes, because they need the internet to be able to contact. Maybe I'll make them a cup of tea or something in the van as well, because I'm sure they're probably going to get a bit hungry later on. Maybe we can all have a dinner party in the van. How unlucky, breaking down on this road. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I'm going to head on down the Glen. So obviously I've left like over £1,000 of equipment with those people that I don't even know, but I think it'll be fine. They can't go anywhere, the car won't move, so should be okay. Should be okay. A little bit worried, but yeah, hopefully they're still there when I get back. They're so grateful though. They're so grateful that I was helping them, because they were like, oh, we don't know what we would have done if you hadn't come, because there's hardly any houses around here. They would have just had to walk, or they would have had to, I don't know, wait till tomorrow, stay all night in the car, wait till tomorrow until someone else came. Haven't seen any other cars driving up and down at this time of night. Wow, this is the end. There is a dam. My goodness, it's huge. This is it, the end of the longest glen in Scotland. At the end of the longest glen, there is another power station, and it looks like in the distance there's a house over there. So I'm not sure if anyone maybe lives there, or if that house belongs to someone who works at the power station, perhaps. Anyway, very exciting to have made it to this random place that I didn't even know existed before 2 days ago when I read about it, and I thought, wow, I want to head down there and check out Scotland's longest glen. Really glad I made this journey. It's so beautiful down here. This dam was built in the 1950s and formed the 5-mile-long Loch Lyon as part of the larger hydroelectric scheme. From here, you can continue on foot and walk to the loch's far end. I'm going to restart my duties as breakdown recovery and go back and help with the roadside assistance, providing cups of tea and moral support. Just as it was getting dark, the breakdown recovery thankfully arrived. It's been such a great adventure exploring Glen Lyon and this beautiful part of Scotland for the very first time. Thank you to Trainwell for sponsoring this video today, and thank you very much to you for watching. See you next time.